So it occurred to me recently that it has been quite a while since I have made a tips and tricks video on Conan Exiles, and a lot of stuff has changed. So I figured I might as well pop together this little guide to help you newer players out, or even if you haven't played in a while. Hopefully there's a couple of tips and tricks here that'll help you get going. If you are a little bit newer to the game, Conan Exiles is like any good survival crafter. You can harvest a lot of things, but occasionally you can find stuff in boxes and get them for free, essentially. And there are a lot of different types of boxes with a lot of different types of stuff, which we'll lightly touch on in a moment. I do have separate guides that go more deeply into a lot of that stuff. But when you're starting out, there's some really handy ones that you can get all along a new beach. Again, I do have separate videos on how to start out well and whatnot. I will show you a couple that are quite handy, and even going up to this place, Sepumero, can have a lot of really handy beginner game resources. A lot of them will be decorations, but you can dismantle those for those resources, which is nice. You can also get free weapons and armor and such. But one of the better ways, and a little bit rarer, is you can find every now and then little relic hunter guys chilling. Again, I have a separate guide going into more of these dudes' locations. This one's real handy. Starting out, if you happen to spawn anywhere really, because you'll be likely running towards this direction, some of our other tips in just a moment, you can get this box, and you do have to wait for them to point in the direction. You just watch where they point. You run over. I'm going to fly over, but just here, there's some really good stuff in it. I managed to get a steel sickle, huge gains, because harvesting things like lotuses and aloe vera and basically anything is really good XP beginning when you're starting out. And some curatives if you get poisoned, some other stamina buffs. You can get all sorts of random different alchemy goods in here, and usually a sickle, but sometimes another tool. It will take a while to respawn. You will have to look at the ghosts again. If you're on single player, just leave and come back and boxes respawn that way. You can also find some lower grade looking boxes, these little wooden things. Usually these guys would be attacking us. I'm in admin mode just to save that chaos. And you can get some beginning weapons and tools. The higher the grade area you're in, obviously the better stuff you'll, well, not obviously, because sometimes not so much. Usually you'll get better things. But all of this stuff you can either put in a dismantling bench if you're high enough level to make one or happen to have a friend, or you can place them on the ground and manually dismantle them for just a little bit less of the resources, a little bit extra time. But that way you don't have to mine it yourself, harvest it yourself. If you're struggling to, say, find bone, you can dismantle any of the things in here pretty much and they will give you bone, or just get some mad decorations. I'm pretty sure I mentioned this in like every video I do, but the Cave of Correc is really good to come to when you first start out here in E5. Not only will you learn sorcery, which will come in very handy later, but you will also you can easily run past all of these turtles. They're quite slow. They are corrupting, and you will gain corruption in here. But you can also get some pretty nifty little boxes right at the back. Touch this here to get the sorcery. If you already have it, you will only get the tome. If you have the tome on you, you won't get another one, so you have to drop it. But initially you will get a wand and some sorcery bags as well, and you can craft a spell bridge of ice over, or jump down and climb up. And there are a fair few goodies over here, so it is well worth your journey. Some gold and silver, which will come in handy for one of our tips in just a bit about the purges and why they're worth doing. With some other goodies, and there's another box up here which apparently I've missed forever. One of my commenters mentioned it, and I was like, oh shit, apparently I don't climb. That's the type of stuff we could also get in that other box. If I could let go, thank you. This is sometimes a bag. If it's a bag, get it. Otherwise it's a legendary key box. Don't bother, because it'll be like that and you'll be sad you wasted a legendary key. Also, you can get some grey lotus powder in these type of boxes. I have another video on all where to get some grey lotus. If you're specifically hunting, a bit easier, but it is a way to get some. You need it for some quests and to make strength potions and something else. Don't make those strength potions, but again, that's another tip. So yeah, if you didn't have a decent weapon, you could already have a pretty decent weapon just from getting that. These will be random, but well worth checking. This tip kind of links into our previous tip of the getting stuff for free, but also it's a tip on its own, and it's well worth coming to Sepumero. If you don't know where we are on the map, it's around B7-ish. Good for a couple of reasons. Those loot boxes, like I mentioned, they're scattered everywhere. I have a couple of guides that go into where you can find them all, but various different amounts of goodies. This one, I got a free Sand Reaper egg in, free pets, some building materials, some other stuff I can dismantle for silk, lots of goodies. And these boxes are absolutely everywhere. But beyond, oh, I even got a truncheon, could do some taming. These guys are all friendly unless provoked, which is excellent when you're starting out. You can unaggro them pretty easily by climbing something and just waiting a little while, or leaving the area generally works. You can find pretty much every thrall and a named variant that you want here. It might not be the best option, but when you're starting out, having a tier 3 crafter of some variety or a taskmaster, which there are lots of here. We've got an edge smith right there. That's really going to help your life. Even if it's not your desired guy with their desired health. It's much easier to pick these guys off too because they're fairly spread out and you get a lot of really nice loot along the way. A couple of other cool things about this place. If you haven't already learned the set religion or various other religions, this box always has a set token in it where you can either dismantle it for some zeal in your altar, or you can consume it and actually learn the religion, which is handy if you have tribe mates who can't be bothered climbing Necromosis' Spire or whatnot. But if you didn't know, you can also learn all of the religions, which I highly advise doing. Also collect up all of these strange dildo-looking treasures and various other treasures because they'll come in handy later when we're doing purges. And it's also a great spot to try and find some set archpriests if you happen to want to dabble in gods. But again, different guides, different videos. If you have been hanging around in that correct cave a little long and you're a little bit corrupty, another great thing about old Sepumero is Conan's bar or Conan's house. It's not really a house and it's not really his bar, but he hangs out here and you can get a story off him, and the house also cures you of corruption. As well as out the back there is a dungeon, which is pretty worth doing once you're of level to do it. There's a decent amount of good everything, but check that guide out. These guides always turn into like slight promos for every other guide rather than going to great depth about everything. So sorry about that. It is for y'all's benefit. As you can see, I already waffle on enough. But this place also has a huge amount of random chance crafter spawn. So this guy might be a smelter next time. He might be a carpenter. Never a fighter though. And if you're lucky, you'll find this stuff. Flotsam. Highly advise picking that up, but do not open it now because you'll get way too full. But if you happen to see a bearer in some of your adventures, there is only one in Sepumero, but you can usually corner him off. If he's low level, tame him. It's really quick, and steal his backpack. If you happen to get an armorer, you can make their backpacks. But if you kill them, well, nothing's watching, nothing will aggro, so they'll wander far enough away. But those guys won't aggro. These guys are always aggressive down in this direction here, so don't run any further than this because they might all come attack you unless you want to kill them. They could drop some cool things. And he may also possibly drop a bearer's backpack upon killing, but that's fun because you might get some bear pelt and crystal from a tier 3, maybe some alchemy base, maybe something else cool. And that Flotsam got us some random beverages, but sometimes it's building materials. Don't find as much as you would on Sibta, but when you do find it, definitely pick it up. A couple more boxes up here. Get all the treasure and all the gold and silvers, even build a golem. And occasionally you can also find the purple lotus orbs, which will look like this, but purple, and you can use those to knock out thralls from a distance. You probably need at least 5 for a named, because the better the thrall, the more it takes. For a shitty name, not so much, but anyway, I digress. That won't aggro these guys. If I wanted to knock out this guy, it wouldn't aggro this guy. If I hit him with a truncheon, it would. So do that if you find something really cool and you're not capable of knocking them out by yourself. Which kind of leads us on to my next tip is if you are on PC, press J or really tab and take yourself into here and go to journey steps. Also on PlayStation, have no idea what the button is to get to it quickly, but yeah, you want to be doing these because even though my head's in the way, let's move that guy over here, you can get some pretty mad rewards. And that was less good. This is the reward I was just talking about, the purple lotus orbs, which helps you knock stuff out. So handy. You just have to do a bunch of this stuff. If you're going to go knock out a thrall, maybe select this before you go out and do it. It is better than doing it later because it doesn't retroactively track, unfortunately. And things like this, like the Slaver's Hood, excellent knockout abilities, and that'll help you get Thralls even better. We've got the Perfected Armor and some other cool things. Advanced Dismantling Bench. Those are from mods, so don't worry about them. All sorts of adventure stuff. It does have to be selected for it to activate. So if I was to craft some dry wood or even pick up some dry wood from dismantling something, one of these picture frames, if I was to put that in a dismantling bench, I would pick that dry wood up and I would achieve it. If you do need a thrall to help you out, you've got even more options now, because as of recently, actually it was a while ago now, crafting thralls also can follow you around. You can level them up and they can help you fight. So if you can't find anything bar a smelter, you can still get them to help you get a fighter, for instance. And we also have a couple of other ways to get thralls quite easily now. One of them being these cages located all about the map. I do have a guide, although I think it's mildly outdated. They have more cages than what's in there. It'll help get you going. Kill this jailer and you get his jailer key. Whatever other goodies he happens to have on him. If you are starting out, that is an excellent little stack of gear, and or to put on the thrall that you are about to rescue. And I do advise getting all the other thralls in the area, killing them, because otherwise they will aggro and kill your newly acquired thrall. If you don't want them, you can just disband them. You don't have to keep them, as there is a thrall limit to how many you can have. The better areas you go to, the better cages there will be. This one's not that great, and we got a Conan Exiles 3. Probably going to die pretty quickly, but we've got some spare armor we could put on them and an improved weapon, and they could help us tame something a little bit better. Or if you don't want them, simply stop following and break bond. You can pick up whatever they have on them. If we go up to here by Deserter's Watch, you can see we've already got a Razor the Brutal and a Marcos Barros of Banes. There's a bearer up here and the jailer. I just collect these over the times for videos. That jailer obviously had some way better stuff on them. 3-star metal sword, look out. The cages won't always have someone in them, and sometimes people have already got to them before you. Not guaranteed. Hyborian Alchemist 3, you know, if you didn't have an alchemist, that's really handy. And bare minimum, you can always steal that obsidian sword. But it can be a little bit random what you're going to get. It is an excellent way to be able to get a tavern keeper, barkeeper, whatever the hell, which is our tip in just a second. Or you could do a purge. Go hunting those things. Eventually you'll find a tavern keeper. In fact, you'll probably find like 20. And then we can get some fun thralls. Do that. But we'll do this first. If you have gathered up some money, or just even looked around the area of Buccaneer Bay, again, I have a separate guide all on this area. Just here in the 7N area, we got a couple of merchants who sell thralls for gold and silver. A couple of these dudes will be aggressive, just moosh them out the way. Holy. That's fine. This guy. We can buy some alchemists. Will be a tier 2 when named, and they will be at the same level as the guys from Sepumero where we were just before. Same with these fighters. If you have 100 gold, which is so easy to get, you can convert some with your little treasure trove thing, which I will go into in a second when we talk about purges. And convert that treasure, get a butt ton of gold, come here and buy some mercenary fighters, archers, alchemists, and dancers. And you can have your own Conan bar at your very own house. These guys will help you get a purge done, or help you defend your base or raid a base. The other guys just up here, there's a couple of ways to get here again. Separate guides, you can check that out if you are struggling. Where are we? This guy over here. Archers and entertainers. They're likely not going to be the most amazing, but they're probably better than anything you can get if you are low level and don't have an army already. And one of those tier 3 fighters could super easily help you get you a much better fighter all the way up here in Hounds of the Dead or something. Army of Bearers from another video. I should probably go around and kill all of those. But if you did manage to get yourself a tavern keeper, you can build yourself a little bar. Doesn't have to be as fancy as this. It can literally be a bar. The more tables and seats you have around, the more room you do for your patrons. The regular thralls you have placed around will also come and hang out. That is one of my cooks. Eventually, patrons will come and visit your bartender. If having more than one bartender also can help too. Although I find just generally more chairs help. They have a pretty small trade list, but you can get some hearty feasts, some bread, some different alcohols. You can enlist contacts, but I've got none to enlist currently because the Great Hunt's not on. And yeah, and you just wait it out. And if you see someone you like, they'll knock them out. Not everyone you can knock out though. Sometimes they won't have names above their heads. It's unfortunate. Yeah, it's still my cook. I think there's my guy over here as well. The longer you hang out in the area, the better chances you have of them wandering up. Because I haven't been in this area, then they're not wandering. I think I said knock them out before instead of hire them. I meant to say you can't knock them out. I'm not sure. Anyway, you can't knock them out and you have to hire them. But yeah, just wait until these guys pop up. You can talk to him, hire him for 100 gold. He'll be yours. You'll get a Shemite Exile. It's not really a bargain. If you don't want them, you can hit them up and they will leave. They need to have a name above their head. If they don't, you can't talk to them. You can knock them out, but it is a little bit tricksy. Or you just hit them up and they'll leave also. Oh yeah, everyone gets so angry at them. Fuck them up. I actually have never seen that happen. I'm not sure if they can kill him. Oh, they can. I can harvest his corpse then. The other guy left, he was a bit scared. These guys are maniacs. This spot unfortunately did not work for a purge, but I happen to have my treasure coffer in here. You can pop treasures in there or keep in there if you want to declare your power. You talk to this guy and he'll let you know if you've got anything to exchange your treasures for. I currently have only coins in my coffer. But you can also place bigger treasures around anywhere in the glowing section that you find. Any of the little ones you can add to this thing. I just went quick stack give all and it gave all that were in my pocket that were able to be given. And if you want to turn those into coins, I can exchange here and get up some coins. Obviously the bigger the treasure, the more it's worth, and you can find some even bigger treasures, but can't put them in your pocket. You have to walk slowly home with them. And if you find a decent place to do the purge, again I've got separate guides on doing the purge, you get some really nice rewards from different recipes for armor, food, various different really rare fighting thralls and crafting thralls. So a nice wide open spot, and preferably somewhere that's not your own bases. They'll likely do damage. The higher the level the purge, the more skids it will be. I believe it's anything from 5 or 6 above. You will potentially get star medal, although it might be 7 or above. It's been a while. I should do some more. But you get some nice resources and have a zeal tool for making whatever god stuff you need, because you get a lot of god souls from doing them. Not all it's worth. Or you can skin them for leather, I believe, too. I would say you found some really cool armor and you like the look of it, but you don't love the stats, and you actually like the stats of the armor you're wearing. Well, you're unlucky because you can actually dye and transmog the skin of the armor. So I'm wearing different armor to what it looks like I am wearing. Now you will need a dyeing table to dye stuff and a sorcerer's bench to transmog things. Neither the thing you want to skin or the skin itself can be damaged, which is kind of annoying. At least the skin could be damaged. When you place them in there, be very careful to place the source stats, not the appearance. Otherwise you end up with a very ugly, shitty statted item. Once you've crafted it, then you want to go over and dye it. If you do it the other way around, it's a little unpredictable with what you might get, unfortunately. You can also tame mounts, which is pretty handy to get around getting some of those thralls and preparing for doing those purges and doing pretty much everything. You get them fairly early on, as long as you can find the babies. You can buy camel babies, so then pretty easy. And most of the others are also fairly easy. Again, I have separate guides, and you can get some rhinos even. Ooh. You pop them in a stable, which you'll learn at level 15. Just like one bit of bark or one grass usually does them. You get a horse, and then you can put a skin on your horse if you like. If you happen to have a different skin depending on the different horse, you have to do it before you place the horse down or any other animal you wish to put a skin on. Do it in your pocket first and then place the animal. You cannot pick it back up unless you got a mod on. Oh, this is mildly out of order. Probably should have mentioned it with the thermagoging reskinning of your clothes. If you're unsatisfied with how you look as your character design, maybe you rushed through it, you didn't really think about it, and you're like, oh, I hate looking at that all day long, you can actually make an orb of Nurgle. You do have to wait till level 45 or happen to have a friend, but at least there's a way of getting out of it. You click on this, you can change your race, your voice. Speaking of which, should be savage. Don't know why it's not savage, it's wild. Make your hair, all different things. There's even a couple of hairdos in here that aren't included in your regular set. Like this one, which my hair is sometimes. So there's always that option if you are set aside. Maybe you don't like how tall you are. Yeah, maybe you want to be a little shorty pants or a real tall guy. You can change it here. There is also lots of ways in which you can place certain benches. So have a play around with stuff that might go on top of other things. It doesn't have to go snappy bang on a foundation. Although if you are playing on official or a multiplayer server, or if you have decay time on, you will need foundations around. I believe it's at least 7 tier 1. Preferably you want tier 2 or tier 3 though. That will extend your timer up to a week. I believe if it's tier 1 it's only like 3 days. If it's 7 you need more. If it's tier 1 it's at least 7 tier 3. If you're ever unsure, you can make a repair hammer in your inventory. You can check out other people's bases if you're on PvP. Or maybe even PvE. I'm not 100% sure because I don't play it that often. But on PvP, when stuff decays, you can go up to a door and dismantle the door. Never decay a whole building because everything goes poof and then you panic. Try to pick up all the bags before they disappear. And if you find one of them, you can kind of strategize and go, okay, maybe I'll go back home, get my horse or whatever, and my camel with more inventory space. I'll empty my pockets, then I'll come back. Hopefully no one's found it between now and then kind of thing. Rather than dismantling the building and then panicking and having to call me over. And that was actually a lot of loot we got. But then we also got squished by a rhino. Anyway, I digress. You can check people's timers, and if you want to raid them and you're not sure when they've last been online, or maybe if they are online or not, maybe you're not sure of the player names. I'm pretty sure they're visible now anyway, so that doesn't really matter. But maybe you're not sure when they were last online. You can see that as well. I won't say the exact time they were last online, but you can see by the decay timer. It'll say like 2:48 instead of 2:55 or whatever it usually is. And then sometimes they randomly change that timer because summer holidays. But it is a good idea to keep an eye on your own building's decay. Make sure you don't place these altars too far away from the land claim or anything, because it's devastating to come back and go, oh, I don't got nothing. And things like altars, I believe, have 3 hours or 7 hours. It does depend on server settings. Most things only have an hour. Something like a box, you can get away with putting a few random decorations like candles or anything you found in treasure chests around the world around it. And that can increase its timer just a little bit, which if you place one of them in a bush or behind a rock somewhere and you know you'll be back for it soon. Also, if no one runs past things, they tend to not disappear until the next person runs past, or the server resets sometimes. I had a base live in a decayed state for like 6 months once, because just nobody ran past it. Other bases, I logged in about an hour after it was due to decay and lost everything. Something else that's worth mentioning, if you're a bit newer and you're unsure, you can mix and match your armor. You don't have to wear full sets. I don't think there are even any that give you a full set bonus. So yeah, you can mix and match stuff as much as you like, which is nice. If you wear heavy, you're not going to roll or run as far or fast. There's a little bit of a nerf on that. You can't even see because I'm in God mode. I got other videos to go into that anyway. Light armor is going to give you less armor, and you don't, I don't believe you lose enough stamina and all of that to really bother wearing light armor in this day and age. But again, things change all the time in this game. It may be light armor metas again in a second. Who knows with these fellas? But test out and find what you like, different combinations. You don't even have to wear full heavy. You can wear some light, some medium, some heavy. Mix it up. The stat penalties don't make a huge amount of sense to how you think they would apply. Another big one I should probably mention if you are newer to the game, don't worry about building a giant sandstone mansion. This is not necessary. This is most of the benches you will need and most of the things you will need, and probably a little bit extra because I just splattered this all here after my last save delete and I lost all my buildings and haven't been bothered building again since. Just stuff I need for videos showing examples and whatnot. You don't need anything more than what this will fit, and you can squish it all a lot more together, and you don't need half of that. So that's fun. don't build a giant sandstone mansion. It won't give you very much XP because mining stone is nothing. If anything, go mine some metal and get some of these guys. And you do want to convert it to iron bars and then get a blacksmith and convert it in a tier 2 or an improved blacksmith bench into these guys. And then once you got that blacksmith with some steel fire, can't see because behind my head, let me move me. You can turn them into steel reinforcements. That way it's very quick and easy. Much better to do it that way than the regular crafting it bullshit. As it's going to cost you a lot more iron to craft that steel with the steel fire as well in these guys. The better the bench, the less resources it usually uses, but not always. Sometimes it's just quicker and you don't need every variation like I have. Again, these are mostly just for examples for videos. And I probably wouldn't even bother having a big wheel of pain at my own personal base. I like, especially on PvP, to have a few different wheels of pain bases. That way I've got some benches spread out, some resources a bit spread out. They'll likely get hit, yeah, but people don't tend to wipe them to the ground, so you always have something. If your main base gets hit, they might not have hit your wheel of pain and you have some stuff there, or at least you got a spare wheel where you can build up again from. I usually have their little wheels stacked up on themselves or these gibbets, because thralls are pretty quick, and if you have a taskmaster about, they're even quicker again. There's probably a million other things to mention. I'll just do another video when I remember the things I've already gone through my list here that I quickly jotted down. But if you are a viewer of this channel, even if you're new to this video, I have a competition at the moment if you are viewing before the 1st of October 2025. It's over after then, but hopefully I've got a new one going on. Check out my community tab. Who knows? But we've got some DLCs, we've got a couple of copies of the game, we've got some bizarre items, some fun stuff to give away. Head on over to that video, which will be linked in the description of this video or at the end or somewhere, maybe even in the pinned comment. And go check out my Instagram at Vanillibet and send me a DM of what you want out of those DLCs and I'll put you in the draw. You can enter for everything. Even if you have them already, you can always give them to a friend, as I will specifically be giving out keys for the actual DLCs and such. The games I might actually just gift on Steam. We'll see how that all works out. Head over to that video, check that out, check out my Instagram. We've only recently started posting over there, so I'm trying to build up a bit more of a community. Pretty lazy about promoting my other socials, but I thought it was about time. If you found this video helpful, smash that like button and let me know in the comments any other tips or tricks that you would like to know how to do, or any ones that you found particularly handy using yourself. Maybe ones that I haven't mentioned here also, or if maybe one of these happens to be your favorite go-to tip and trick. I'm always curious to hear y'all's feedback. And again, if you have watched a couple of these videos and you're not already, consider hitting that subscribe button. It means a bunch, as I'm almost at my 10K, and that is why I'm doing my little giveaway. Don't think I actually mentioned that before. But to celebrate that, that's what we're doing, a little giveaway. And yeah, I'll stop waffling on. Hope these helped. Probably no one even made it to the end of the video, but lucky you if you did. You get to enter a giveaway. The benefits of watching till the end, eh? Hey, I see you. Appreciate you, I do. Consider checking out one of these next guides I got coming up on Conan Exiles, or one of the other games I play, and I also sometimes stream over on Twitch, so check that out at Illibet. Again, everything's linked in the description. Until next time, I hope you have an excellent day, evening, night, morning, whatever it may be, wherever you may be. Have a good one.